T minus 1 minute. T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Own it, own it, own it, Kong. I own it. It did.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
Hey, everybody. Happy Thursday and welcome to the NXT Review Recap After Show. I am one of your hosts, Katrina from In Cat We Trust, and also one of the writers here at Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. But I am not alone. I have the absolutely fabulous Shay Sawyer. How are you today?
I am doing splendiferous. I just wanted to say a really big, unnecessary word. That's how I'm doing. How are you?
I am okay. It's been a bit of a week, but I'm here. I'm happy to be here. It's cool. It's cool. Just
I'm happy to have you here.
Yes. And so we had a lot of women's action this week on NXT, which is always good to see, especially since we are Women's Wrestling Talk. It's always nice to see some women's action, considering, Monday Night Raw didn't really have too much women on their, 30 year kind of anniversary thing happening, and they didn't really have a lot of women on the show, and so it's kind of nice that at least somebody on WWE was like, you know what, let's give the ladies some love and some action. So how were you feeling about the episode, like, overall?
I mean, I enjoyed it, actually. There were a lot of things that took place that kind of like further progressed a lot of stories that I feel were kind of like it's like we need something to start happening with some of these things to push forward. I mean, Vengeance Day is like 2 weeks away, so it's time. So I enjoyed it for that reason, for the story progression, for a lot of things.
Yeah, I thought it was I'm sorry. Comment. That's not what I said, but but yes, it was a lot of women's action on NXT. So yeah, I agree. I do think it was a bit of a slow build with some of the stuff that's been going on in NXT, but again, I do like that we got to see a lot of the ladies this week. A lot of, I'm like, okay, all right. I mean, we had some males action, but it was nice to see the ladies. And so starting right off, we did have the first match of the night, which was Tiffany Stratton versus Indi Hartwell. And so I thought it was a pretty solid match. I felt like Indi, Hartwell kind of went and like really kind of wanting to go in and really win. She felt like I'm getting more like, I thought she was tweening before, honestly. But I feel like she's kind of leaning closer to the heel side. She's being a little bit more aggressive. And so I'm like, okay, I thought they worked really well together. I actually thought, the fact that Indi kind of attacked Tiffany on the entrance told me that, she's being more aggressive. And this might be a good play or a bad thing. I don't really know yet. But I did feel like Tiffany looked even better than she did before she was injured. personally. I thought she looked really well. I can actually see her even moving to the main roster. If they keep it up, I could actually see her moving to the main roster. But while this match was I thought it could have been a little longer personally. I actually think they're using Tiffany's, like, if they're going to keep her on the, trajectory of going where she's going to be winning, that maybe she can even challenge Roxanne for the title. And so I think it's smart to do it this way, even though I do like Indi winning as well. But Tiffany wound up faking, an injury to get a cheap shot and did a rolling fireman's carry slam and a moonsault to win and beat Indi. And so again, I thought it was a solid match. I thought they both looked pretty solid. I wish it kind of, would have lasted a little longer, but good way to open NXT. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, no, I definitely noticed that it was a pretty short match. Like, I expected it to be a little bit longer, but I'm not. Hello, Wilson. How are you? But I'm not mad because I feel like the right person won. Just because Tiffany did just come back, I think that she needed to get this win because it would have been crazy. I don't know. She just would look crazy, like, moving forward if you just came back and you lose your first return. So, but for Indi, I'm confused. I think that she's having such an existential crisis. Like, she doesn't know if she wants to. Because even when Tiffany had the whole thing with her knee, like when she was faking the injury, you saw Indi was showing that she cared. Like, it's like Indi needs to figure out what's going on within her. She's forcing it. Like, just I want Indi to be. I really love Indi, so I just want her to get it together and start racking up these wins like I know she can.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was more of a tweening situation because, like, she was aggressive. Like I said, attacking Tiffany before Tiffany made it to the ring was heelish. Taking the microphone, that's all heelish type things. But then the fact that she showed some kind of concern, heels don't care if a person's injured. They'll probably try to make you more injured. And so that gave me very tweeny vibes. But I mean, I guess we'll figure it out. I don't know what's, like, she's going through, and I don't know how I feel about them even putting her in a situation where she's confused because it took so long for her to kind of have some footing in NXT by herself anyway. And so I don't really know how I feel about them, kind of where she seems conflicted about stuff. But otherwise, it was a really, for what it was. Yeah, I mean, I feel, I don't know. We'll see with Tiffany. I do like that NXT have a good crop of women there, and maybe they can move them up, because sometimes it will let the main roster kind of needs a little bit of help. But here we are. So moving right along, we had a kind of a two-part segment match. So it first starts off with Thea kind of being congratulating for having her first win at NXT. And so I thought it was a little cute little, the fact that he was wearing the doctor in robes. When you get to that level. I thought it was cool. They had a little cap and gown. They had a little podium. I really wasn't sure what the other guy was wearing about the little tight shirt, but it is what it is. I thought it was cute, considering that she was always there, and to have a little win. And so, unfortunately, though, JD did come out and interrupt this celebration, and I thought Thea looked a little bit annoyed, and he pretty much said that this celebration was mediocre. Like, so he said it was pretty much celebrating mediocrity. And while sometimes I use that word because I do, sometimes people are a little bit mediocre. You're like, why are you hyping it up? And so, but in this case, considering everything that we've seen Andre Chase been doing, I felt like it was a nice little thing for Thea to have. And so he got punched out of the ring, which led, to a matchup, which I thought was, pretty solid. Andre worked hard. He did, but JD clearly, and while we have seen Andre Chase clearly gotten better over the time he reached with his other matches, like there was a moment I think he did like Chase U stomps, and that was pretty solid. And then I think he countered JD with like a knee to the face, but then it got, then JD kind of did a headbutt, and then Andre did a Canadian Destroyer, and I thought that was a nice little sequence. that was done really well. And so Andre is definitely getting better, but unfortunately, JD Madonna did kind of come out on top here with the win by pinfall. I don't know if this is what they're going to really do. If this is going to be like a real big feud, or is it going to be something else that's going to happen with them, or it was just a one-off? I have no idea. But for what it was, I thought it was pretty solid, and I wasn't surprised with the win. So what are your thoughts about that matchup?
I loved it because they were killing two birds with one stone. You know, JD needed a win, and Andre and the storyline needed to be moved forward. And with Duke, because Duke, what are you doing? Let me talk about the ceremony itself. You ever heard the thing? I forgot who said it. I think it was Suge Knight. Duke, all in the pictures, all in the videos. Why are you there? When he jumped in the middle to take the picture when Thea was taking her photo, why are you in the middle? Why are you there? You're not supposed to. Because he wants the whole freaking university to be about him. I swear he's going to, like, if this story goes to the point where he changes it to Duke University, I feel it. He's up to something. And then he goes and costs Andre. He knows he cost Andre that win, walking out like that. It was calculated. I don't believe anything Duke has to say. And you know what, Thea? Smarten up, because you be all just living on everything that Duke says. Duke is lying to you and Andre. Andre has your best interest at heart. He's been a little bit distracted dealing with Mr. Duke, but he has your best interests.
I mean, but you was right though. Just saying, because he definitely was putting himself in this. Like, this is not about you right now, bro. And so, in a way,
that pose was so obnoxious in the middle. Like, who does that in the middle? If I look at my graduation and I see him in the back doing that, like, yeah, he owes me a fight. He owes me a fight.
And you see, I feel like when I graduated, I was like really like, oh my God, I did it. But like, I worked hard. So I would be a little annoyed too if I worked hard and said, I'm like, what are you doing? And so I totally understand. I do. Nice little Suge Knight reference. If you got those who know, those who know when that speech was said. I don't know if that's revealing our age or anything, but those who know. So moving on, we did have a match we kind of was, looking forward to, which was Ivy Now and Tatum Paxley versus Kiana James and Fallon Henley, who kind of had some tag team action after the little bit of, kind of discord between them for the last couple of weeks. And so I thought it was pretty solid. Before the matchup, so Kiana kind of asked Fallon, if they were can she open the match, and it kind of felt like they were struggling at the end. But I did, I wish they would have worked a little bit better together. And that kind of like upset me, just because we know they're kind of at odds a little bit, though I don't really think it's necessarily the big of a reason to kind of not work together in the match. But we know they kind of have issues with each other, and it was very obvious, especially really early on, that they were not on the same page. And I thought they did well solo. I thought it was solo wise they did really well, personally. But I don't know. I kind of felt like, in a way, the fact that we have Tatum and Ivy Now, who are actually really good. And so I kind of felt like, to kind of put this storyline with Fallon and Kiana, it kind of made Ivy and, it kind of made them not look as good as I wanted them to look. And Tatum Paxley, I just felt like that should have been, it could have made them look a little bit better if they wasn't trying to continue the story. See, you found that I mean, it was decent, but I just felt like it kind of made like the other two not look that well, and they actually can wrestle, and so that kind of bothered me a little bit. And the fact that it was kind of a cheating win, so Kiana tripped Ivy, and then this kept Tatum from interfering, and then Fallon wound up doing a Shining Wizard and they won. And so I do feel like you can see there's differences between their styles. There's a lot of like growing they need to do, but it was just kind of sad, unfortunate because I kind of like, I think Ivy now can really wrestle, and it made them kind of like not seem as good because of this thing they got going on. I feel like there's a way that could have been done where it looked better. Like even if Ivy and had to take that loss, it would have still made them look good, but then also kind of see this kind of really weird win with the other two. And so I felt that could have been done a little bit better. But that is who won the match. So what are your thoughts about this matchup, I guess, and how they kind of went about getting the win?
I honestly, going into it, I thought Tatum and Ivy were going to win. I genuinely did, because I'm like, this is such a last-minute thrown together team to just have them beat Ivy and Tatum, who have really been working towards something. And I do agree, it does make Ivy look a certain way. Like from the very beginning when they started with NXT 2.0, I know that's gone now, but in the beginning, I feel like they put so much time on Ivy, and I feel like it just slowly went away, and that time started going out. And I think they're taking their time with Ivy, but I think if they keep taking this much time and having her take these unnecessary losses, it's gonna really dim her light. And when it's time, maybe everyone's not gonna be on board because you took so long and you kind of made her look kind of weak in all these instances where you really didn't have to. They could have got any group. I don't understand, but it is what it is. Fallon and Kiana, I feel like they do this thing where they throw certain people that they see better as singles, but they want to kind of give them something to do in the meantime. So they just throw them together. And I feel like that's what's going on with Fallon and Kiana, because I think that those two are very talented. And they do see something in them. So I was like, let's just do this right now. And then we'll come back to this. We'll table this conversation. Essentially, this is what this tag thing is. It's them tabling the conversation. I could see them winning though at Vengeance Day. I don't know why, but I really do see them winning. For some, I just do.
No, I mean I can see it too, but I don't know. They do love pairing people that really coordinate together. They like doing that, but we'll see. And so after this matchup, there was a segment where the New Day did tell Malik Blade, Idris Anafe, and the Dyad that they would have to participate in the New Day Tag Team Invitational next week, and whoever wins that matchup will then be added to the NXT Tag Team Championship match at Vengeance Day. So, what were your thoughts on that segment?
They're trying to be funny because they know that they're doing this just to annoy Pretty Deadly at this point. They just keep adding people to annoy. I swear they are. Even them having the match with Gallus was just to annoy Pretty Deadly. This is crazy. We're on to what the fourth part. This is crazy. I really feel so bad for Pretty Deadly because honestly, they deserve those titles. Give them back. No, but now they want to have a whole four-way. This is crazy. Gallus is enough. They are scary enough. We don't need two other teams. This is crazy. I feel so bad for Pretty Deadly. I actually really love this group, and I think that the sky is the limit for them, especially when they get to the main roster. They're just they crack me up every time they come on the screen. Laugh, and that's the same way I feel about the New Day, which is why I feel like they're doing this to Pretty Deadly. Huh? Stop it! Stop. Okay, and Burn of My Light was Randy Orton's best entrance music. Okay, I will say it. They were talking about it. I'm just bringing it up. I'm just telling you the truth.
They definitely are being mad petty. They're being so petty. I'm like, all right, there's no need to be this petty. Because why do we need four teams? We don't need four teams. But we'll see. I do think it's going to be a really solid match, though. I think it's going to probably be one of the best matches of the night. But yeah, we'll see. They're definitely doing shenanigans, though. And so moving on, we did have a matchup with Hank Walker, Drew Gulak, and the Creed and the Creed brothers, And so I was actually really surprised in the beginning of how it seemed like the Creed brothers were a little bit outmatched. I was like, okay, because I think the Creed brothers really can wrestle, really well, actually. So Charlie appears at the ringside and kind of distracts Drew, and I think that kind of changes the way the match kind of goes up in it. Before, I guess There's some earlier things. Earlier, Drew did have some of his students train with the Creed brothers, but it wound up leading to what would be like a big blow up. And then, so there were moments where like Drew and Julius traded some punches in the ring, and I thought like there was a moment I liked, which was a wheelbarrow slam into an arm breaker, which I was like, okay, all right, you guys are doing well. I think there was even a moment with the clotheslines I thought was pretty cool. And so they were really good moments. But at first I was like, oh, okay. I thought all four of them personally did look really good, actually. I was actually very impressed with how well everything worked with them. But I think also it has to say something about, I guess, Drew, but also the Creed brothers in general, of how well they can wrestle. That I don't think I've ever really seen them put a bad match on in NXT, in my opinion, at least. And so I thought it was a really good match. I thought Hank even made himself step up in this match. He stepped it up as well. And even though the pairing between him and Drew was a bit weird, I thought it worked well because the Creeds just work. So I think it was really well. But the Creed brothers did win this matchup. Drew did not, let Hank kind of take the Brutus bomb, and they wound up losing the match. And the Creed brothers did win. And then after this, Indi did come out and say that they were gonna kind of, challenge them. And so Ivory now agreed that they would, which I was like, I'm a little surprised she's kind of agreeing for them, I guess, but we will have that next week. So otherwise, it was a really solid matchup. I really, really enjoyed it. What are your thoughts about this matchup and the pairing, but what we got from all four of these guys?
I think this was match of the night. I really, really enjoyed this. Even Hank. But what I will say, Hank, don't think that, okay, you're pulling out moves. That's cool. But why are you in the ring in your Clark Kent best? Go find some trunks. I'm done. I'm done with the flannel and the jeans, the Wrangler jeans. I've moved past it, and we're done. So that's, please. And I do agree. Brutus moving around that ring the way he do, charge him. He's too quick. Charge him. All that muscle. It's scary.
But he does it so effortlessly. Like, he is, like, I wouldn't want to take it personally if I was a wrestler. I'm like, wait a minute, pause. That's going to be where I retire because we're not doing that. But he moves so well. I feel like yeah, he's big, but like, look how effortlessly it's just they're just so they're so good. They're so good.
Terrifying. I don't want to see that.
They're so good. In regards to Hank in his best. I know how you feel about Hank. So I mean, he did well though. He surprised me, and I have to agree. This is probably the match of the night. It was a really solid, really fantastic tag team work, even with the really weird Drew Hank pairing. I was like, okay, guys, all right. You got me looking, like, I'm impressed. And again, I do like the Creed brothers. I think they're like one of the top teams in NXT, and I might even dare say maybe one of the top teams in WWE in general, honestly, because they're so good. Yeah. But
yeah. Once they get the Spirit Quest that they're putting them on with all these unnecessary feuds, they'll be back to being the tag champs. Sorry, Pretty Deadly, but they giving you your time. I'm being honest. Pretty Deadly, you're amazing, but the Creeds, when they get up in that ring, it's scary.
Yeah. And I like Pretty Deadly too. I think they're fun. They're entertaining. I'm entertained by them. And they also can wrestle. And so that makes it better. But you got the Creeds who are just more wrestle type. It's just it's good. I agree. I'm hoping we can see them back in the title picture because, come on, solid tag team. Right. And so after that, we had a segment with Mr. Paulo Cruz, went to Carmelo Hayes' favorite barbershop, and he was met there by Carmelo and Trick Williams, and they agreed there to have a 2 out of 3 falls match. I'm just kind of, personally, I'm a little over Apollo Crews having these segments in other places. Get it together. Like, why do we need parking lot diners, fishing boots? Why? You guys can't just have text and be like, you know what, dude, let's do this match. Or maybe in the locker room. Why is everybody everywhere else but in the NXT locker room? What is happening that it's always you guys are doing all these? You guys have all this time to go fishing and to go eat food at the diner and to go to barbershops apparently and get kidnapped in parking lots. Why is it this much time available in NXT? Is beyond me. Okay, I don't understand, but here we are. So, what are your thoughts about that segment? And now we're gonna have a 2 out of 3 falls matchup with Apollo and Mr. Carmelo.
Like, let this be the last time, Apollo. I'm at my wits' end with this man. I really, actually, and he knows he be showing up to this barbershop on purpose to start trouble. When I act like it's all good, just chilling. No, you're being antagonistic. Enough. I'm done. And Carmelo's gonna get his win, and we'll move from this. But I will say this will be a really good match. This will be for me, the match that will rival the tag match, if any match is going to. That's how I see it right now. Now, listen, me saying this is me trying to Jedi mind trick everyone into prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
I mean, yeah, I do think it's going to be a fantastic match, but I am a little annoyed. I feel like, why are we going to always have these like sessions to have matches with him? Why? That's my problem with him. It's like you just keep that's like popping up in all these spots to what you feel like you need to do. That's not how this works. I'm about to go right Shawn Michaels and be like, let me have some matches. I'm about to just tell you, let me go meet somebody at Jamaica, where I live in Queens. Let me go say, you know what? Let's go meet here by the train and let me tell you this is the match I want. Because if this is what works, clearly, this is what working. I need to do the same. Clearly. I'm tired too. I'm like, get it, Apollo, take your losses and move on. Maybe do better. Do better. I don't know. But here we are. Just I'm over it. Anyway, because I'm tired of him. Like, how do you keep just deciding what kind of match? Why do you keep going to people's spots? That's my thing. Because even with Bron, he went to Bron's fishing spot. This is probably the spot Bron has to relax. Most people I know who say they want to go fishing wants to relax, want to clear their mind. Maybe had a long week, and here you come with your negativity. So I feel like, why would you go to the one spot? Now, personally, I think barbershops be doing too much with all the chatting because I want to get my thing done and leave. Like, even with hair salons, we don't need to talk too much. Do what you need to do so I can leave. I don't want to be here for 5 hours. I want to be all that. But, guys like to have their barbershops to bond, brotherly bonding. And here he comes with that negativity. It's like, why are we putting this? Why are you going to his spot? This is his favorite barbershop. That means when he want to look fresh, get the new haircut and stuff. Here you go now, tainting it with negativity. Why do you keep going to people's spots? Why are we doing this, Apollo? But yeah. Yeah, clearly Apollo's not getting the memo of stop doing the shenanigans. Clearly.
No.
So we do have moving on to some more women's action between Elektra Lopez versus Wendy Chu. And so I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, telling lies. What?
Let me pause. Let me think for 1 second. I mean, yeah. Well, yeah. He don't. I don't think Bron don't really have people he hang out with. We can say that. I think he's more of a loner, and there's nothing wrong with being a loner. I feel like sometimes I'm a loner as well. But yes, he went to his spot to relax. This is why Apollo needs to lose and then go somewhere for a while. Go somewhere. Stop with the negativity because he really is. He is.
You need to go to SmackDown and start popping up at the Fun House if you feel that way. If you really start popping up at the Fun House and see what happens. You do that.
Right. You need to go to places. Go there and see how this is going to work out. Because I'm tired. Because I just feel like don't bring your negativity everywhere. It's just too much negativity. But anyway, back to this matchup with Elektra Lopez and Wendy Chu. I don't know how I feel because I felt like it really wasn't a long match. And so there were moments, where it was pretty solid, throughout the matchup. There were moments where, for instance, Elektra did invite Valentina to kind of watch. And, I was like, okay, all right. But it sounded like I thought Wendy was going to really have this, but it kind of felt like in this instance, Elektra did dominate a good chunk of what was of the match. It wasn't a lot, a lot. But I don't know how I feel with the fact that, yes, Elektra Lopez win. And so in a way, it kind of makes her look good, especially with this whole training thing with Valentina. But then you kind of have Wendy Chu. Oops, sorry. You kind of have the situation with Wendy Chu as well, where she just beat Cora Jade. And then to have her beat, Cora Jade and then lose to Elektra, I was just like, I don't really know how I feel about this. And so Wendy tried to come back, and Elektra once again used kind of a dirty motive to win, and was questioned about this afterwards, about why should she keep resorting, with dirty tactics. But I don't know, like I felt like in a way Elektra needed the win, but also this kind of was detrimental to Wendy because she was getting some momentum, and I kind of felt like with this storyline between her, with Elektra and Valentina, it kind of halted that by having her lose. But it was an okay match. It wasn't terrible, but it could have been longer. There could have been more moments that could have been a bit more fleshed out, in my opinion. But what are your thoughts about this matchup?
So yeah, I wasn't expecting Elektra to get the win just because I feel like her booking lately has been weird. So I don't even know. For Wendy, I agree. Like, she had that big win over Cora, which is a big deal. Cora is one of those like heavy hitters, and so yeah, it's a big deal if she beats her. So then to have her lose to Elektra, who's kind of just returning and just now getting that steam, I was confused. Am I upset about it? Not so much. I do like Elektra. I like what she's trying to do. I feel like she's trying to. I think she was also trying the same tactics with another women's wrestler who hasn't really, I don't think, made her NXT debut yet. I think her name was like Valerie or some like. She's very new, and I feel like thank you. Yes, thank you. Himanshu. Literally, he just always has my words. So exactly, this is what she's doing. I like that. I think Wendy is going to be one of those people that probably doesn't ever touch the NXT women's title, but goes to the main roster and has like a lot of success, like Becky, Alexa, Bianca. Like, I really think that's her, which is not, honestly, that's a great roster to the line down. But I just think that's more so because she's more of an entertainer type. Like, not saying she can't wrestle, but I feel like she's more of an entertainer. I feel like the main roster is perfect for her and her character because obviously NXT is not getting it.
Yeah, I mean, because she can wrestle, and it's unfortunate we don't see it as much because of the character. The character's a bit more like laid back, and I don't want to say lazy, but I can't think of another word that fits that. And so she might. I don't think she's touching the title. I'd be very surprised. I don't think she's touching the title either. I do think whenever she does leave, she's not touched. She's going to be one of the people who has never touched it, which is unfortunate when you think of some people who had it. But that's another story for a different time. Otherwise, though, yeah. I mean, I guess we'll see. Like I said, I was a little surprised by that too, and so I was like I get it in a way, but then it's also like, but Wendy kind of suffers in this, I guess. And so after this, there was a segment with Shannon Stacks with Tony D'Angelo at a fancy Italian restaurant, kind of celebrating their new partnership. And I don't know where we're going to get after this, but what were your thoughts on that segment?
I'm excited to see where this goes. I don't know. I'm actually shocked at how Tony is just kind of like giving up control a little bit, calling him an underboss, and like this is like a total turnaround from last year's Tony. So I'm interested to see. Like, I don't be trusting when guys who are going as hard as he was in his heel ways and just turn over. I don't be trusting it. So we're gonna see if this is really bad or if it's gonna be some turning type, some evolution type beat down. I don't know. So we'll see. But I'm happy for Stacks in the meantime. He doesn't have to be a lackey. So
I agree. I definitely we'll see. I don't trust people. Because I'm always like super like but so I don't know, but we'll see. And so then we have another segment which features Grayson Waller once again kind of calling out Bron Breakker, and I felt like once again Grayson got the upper hand of Bron, and I'm just there was the segment that we kind of saw, I think might have been last week, where it was on the social media clip where there was the brawl at the performance center, and people at first didn't realize it was part of the story. People was like, "Oh, who is this popping up? Who's having a thing?" And so they had this whole thing where they brawled and Grayson got kicked out, and so they showed that clip, and then you kind of get to where he kind of calls him out again, and which led the two of them once again to fighting and sending poor Bron through a barricade. And I do. It's just it felt like the locker room did try at one point to kind of help him stop from beating up Grayson, but it was just like, okay, you just keep like, how you letting him like do this to you to these many times? Like, you got to get together, bro. You are the champion. How he keep giving one up on you like all the time, all the time. I do feel like he has a lot of talking persona, like that he's gonna be a heel you kind of agitated with, but you're like, oh, like you're one of those. He's one of those, and so I think he could be a fantastic heel, and I feel like if they keep doing this, he might be even close to like, edge-wise as far as being an opportunist, because Edge as he was always ready to find some way to get, and so I can feel like even close to heel Edge to an extent. But I'm just like, how are you the champion? Just how you keep letting him do this to you? If you have not learned nothing already from Grayson, get it together. Maybe talk to somebody and go, what do I need to see to know when some shenanigans is about to be had? You already knew he was going to goad you. That was so obvious. I wouldn't even give you the time of the day to come out. You're not going to have this to me 3 times in a week, 3 times in a row, have me looking crazy. No, you get the first time, okay? Maybe the second time, because sometimes I got to learn my lesson, sometimes a little hard-headed. But there's not going to be a third time, not a third time. Why does he keep doing this to you? Why? And so now it makes you look like you're not a tough champion, because you let him go through he got you through a barricade, Bron. You're a big dude. You clearly got a little bit more muscle on Grayson. How are you going through barricades? I was just like, come on. Like, if you don't ignore Grayson's, ignore his, like, he can say whatever he want to say, let him talk his stuff, and you just kick his butt in the ring. And considering how that last matchup ended, not looking good. It's not making Braun look good, in my opinion. It's making him look very, and I don't like it. But yeah, what are your thoughts about this segment?
Now, what is going on with you, Grayson? Grayson, I'm getting tired of this. You keep, listen. Yes, Braun is a hothead, and he needs to work on that, because it's not the first time this has been used against him. I feel like Dolph Ziggler also kind of used that against him. Like, he gets so angry. Like, because if Grayson was calling me out, I would have been like, okay, cool. I would have went out to the parking lot with security, of course. And I would have keyed his car and then left. That's it. You win. Like, all this talking. Braun gets so, like, look at that. You saw the picture you put up? He was swinging like he had 10 years of anger against this man. He's so tired. Look at the... This man is swinging for everybody. Like, not just himself. Like, Grayson is bullying. This is bullying. I don't care what anyone says. He's bullying him. I don't care if Braun's throwing the hands. Grayson was bullying him. Leave him alone. I think Braun's going to overcome this, though. I have faith. All the naysayers in the chat, no, there's no reign of terror for Braun. Okay? The reign will continue, and I will be right in each and every one of you messages saying, the terror continues. I'm going to do it. So when you get the messages, you was talking. I see you. I take your names.
Not the messages. Listen, JD, because it's like, come on. I feel like, why do you let him do this to you every week? No, you not get me 3 times. That's no. Like I said, you might get me 2 times, because sometimes I'm ridiculous. Sometimes with myself, I'm like, maybe they don't mean me harm. Maybe they're a better person on the inside. And then something bad happened. I'm like, you know what, Katrina, you should listen to the evil part. I was like, no. F him, okay? So I do this sometimes. I do. But you don't 3 times? No, now you the problem, Bron. You the problem. When they said, fool me once, shame on you. But 3 times, Bron. 3 times. 3 times. And so I feel like maybe he needs to get it together. He needs to get it together and not let Grayson do this to him, because he really was mad. You can, like Shay, you said, with swinging, he clearly was upset, and I'm like, well, you let him get you there. Don't let him get you to this place. I understand sometimes you gotta throw the hands. Sometimes you're gonna be on site, and I totally understand that. But in this situation, it wasn't even on site. He goaded you into a barricade. No, no, don't let that happen to you. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe Braun will overcome, but I just, I don't know. Anyway, After this, we had another announcement that Stevie Turner will be making an NXT debut next week, which I'm excited for. So, what were your thoughts about that little announcement?
I mean, I feel like she kind of made it clear she's kind of a heel. From that exchange with Mackenzie, I'm like, oh, I didn't get heel initially. I thought it was like it gave me more fun from the promos. Like, it gave me more fun. Like, oh, I'm ready for the party. Now it's like, Mackenzie, let me do your job. Shut up. You're too loud. Like she didn't say all that, but that's essentially what she was saying. But I'm still excited to see her. I think she's really talented. So I just want to kind of see how she fits into this. It's always cool to see how someone fits in this, almost like the multiverse.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I think it will be a good debut. I mean, we'll see. So back to some women's action. We had an NXT Women's Tag Team Championship match with KC Squared, Katana, and Kaden versus Soroka and Alba Fire. And so I was a little surprised with this pairing. I mean, I guess it was more so that Sol kind of stood with her, with Alba, which was like, okay, but it seemed like Sol didn't really like Alba's aggressive approach, and she was a bit aggressive. She was. I also there was moments like she like Sol kind of caught Kaden with a standing cutter, which I thought was really solid. But then Alba then excuse me, Katana into the steel steps outside, which Sol didn't seem really happy about. And then there were just moments where it seemed like while they were working well together, it seemed like she really wasn't happy with Alba's kind of approach. And I do like that they were showing a lot of offense with them. I thought it was really solid. However, it seemed like Soroka was able to get isolated, and there was a neckbreaker 450 splash combo, which I thought was actually really well done. They did I think there was one moment even like where Kaden used Katana as like a weapon and kind of put her on top of Alba, and they did like a inverted drop, a chair drop, I think, which I thought was really solid. But the tag team champions did come back out on top. Like I said, it was really solid work. I thought this was a really pretty good match. But the tag team champions did come out on top with this matchup. And afterwards, it seemed that we might have had some, situation where Alba might be working with Isla after all. And so I'm like, okay, I guess we'll see where we go from there. But it's looking like what we were saying the last couple of weeks, that they might be working together after all. And so what are your thoughts about this matchup?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I have to agree with Wilson in the chat. This was definitely my second favorite after the tag match with the guy. I guess the tag matches were just delivering tonight. Well, that night. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with their reign, like Kaden and Katana, but I feel like it's been so like turned down. Like I feel like they haven't really gotten really good like storylines or like any real like competition since they became champ. It's been so like just like, oh, here's a match randomly out of nowhere. Oh, tag match next week. Oh, really? Like it's just, I just feel like not a lot of effort's been put into them really look like being a dominant and like very like attention group. Like I just don't feel that way, and it sucks. That's why I feel like they could possibly lose at Vengeance Day because I feel like they haven't really put no stake behind them for real in this tag. This championship reign. So that's where I'm at with it. And I'm sad because I've waited so long for them to have the titles, just for them to really not be doing anything with them when they have them. And they're the longest reigning. And I'm still shocked because I keep forgetting because they're not doing anything with it. It's sad. It's very sad because I think they're both aggressively talented. Clearly, this match showed that. They showed that in every match, to be honest. And then they finally get the titles and they're not really getting showcased. So I don't really get it. And yes, Isla, we know. we be knowing stuff. But I'm excited to see this because I feel like they're gonna get into a lot because I feel like Alba's way more aggressive now, and then Isla, you know what she's capable of. We've seen it, so this is fun. And Soul Girl, just stay in the back next time. I don't know what and why. I just don't know what and why. Come to it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure why she chose to stand for it, but I mean, I guess maybe she's just being nice. Maybe it's just one of those, she's like a nice person. I'm like, okay, I'll help out, not realizing that Alba is still dealing with all the stuff that's happened to her the last couple of weeks. Like, she's
You
been.
want to know what? I think that they just wanted to showcase her in the ring a little bit before Saturday because I genuinely feel like she's going to be in the Rumble. They're going to have her doing tricks and turns in there. I really feel like she's going to be in that, so they just wanted to have her on to keep them eyes fresh. Be like,
That's a good point because she is somebody who can do like some. We've seen it where how athletic she is, that she can be somebody that have some movements at the Rumble. So I wasn't even thinking about that, but yeah, that could very well be it as well.
I won't be mad at it.
Okay, see, now I gotta pause you right there. Katrina is not a fan. Don't do that. We're talking about covens, and I like covens. I do, but no. Isla was doing shenanigans. And I don't like shenanigans, so you can't be doing that and then think I'm probably like, yay, Isla. No, we did call that we thought they would probably work together because it seemed like Isla wanted Alba so bad, but no, we're not fans. I mean, if she wasn't doing what she was doing the last few weeks, I might have been like, okay, she's not bad, but because she's been doing shenanigans and messing up Alba's chances of winning some stuff, like every time you thought she was about to win, here come Isla with the shenanigans. The only thing Isla got going for her right now is she seems to have really good gear and something I probably wear my own. I'm like, okay, I might wear this, but that's it. Otherwise, she would do too much. And so don't put we. There's not a we. That's y'all. Katrina's not part of the we. Okay, we're not part of that. We're not part of that. Okay, well, I mean, that's I don't know what to tell you there, but I'm just saying, yes. Listen. Another conversation for another day, but I am a witch, so yes. Yes. However, I just can't be friends with Isla because she was doing shenanigans, and we can't have that. But I'm glad you guys, I guess if y'all want to bond to shenanigans, I won't, but you guys can. And so afterwards, there was also a segment where Brooks kind of told Fallon that he went to Shawn Michaels and got her and Kiana James a match for the NXT Women's Championship titles. And even though she seemed like Fallon didn't really seem too happy about that. But they did both appear to kind of say they will both accept the match at Vendors Day. And so I guess they will be the next challengers for this title. I will be very surprised if they win it. Gonna be honest, I will be really surprised. But what are your thoughts about that?
Fallon, why are you mad? Your last title shot was like how many months ago against Mandy? You should be happy. I'm gonna be upset I'm getting a title shot. I don't understand it. That's all I have to say. Like, girl, you better get on board.
I don't know. I'll be very surprised if they win it. If it's like to see if they'll be better friends by making them win, but I feel like there'll be a disservice to Casey squared, and so I don't even know. But yeah. Now that leads us to the final, segment of pretty much like the really big segment. So before I get into that, there was a couple little moments, and so Mackenzie Mitchell did interview Jacy Jane and Gigi Dolan separately. And then they kind of, before all of this got to this segment. And then we also had Drew, Gallus promising to kind of go off to the NXT tag division and kind of do what they were going to do in NXT UK. There was also a moment before this where Wesley and Dijak met in a dark room, which I'm not really sure why we're meeting in dark rooms because I'm gonna get back there. And so they met in the dark room, and it was like West didn't really show, but it was about pretty much the matches coming up. And then we also had a segment where Cora Jade kind of talked down to Lyra, but then we see Nikkita apparently as the parking lot seems to be the most dangerous place to be in NXT, where she was injured, and apparently I believe she's supposed to have a few things like kind of really messed up. And while I don't wish injuries on anybody, she is also very injury prone. Like I feel like she's been injured about 3 times since she's made a debut. But let me just quickly go back before I get to the last segment. With Wesley and Dijak in the dark room. Why are we meeting in the dark rooms? We're not photographs. Why are we doing this? The only dark room I'm thinking of is if you're gonna get some pictures developed, and you might be in a dark room, or maybe you're watching a horror movie and you want everything to be like while you get comfy, eat your snacks and everything. But why are we in the dark room? Why? Why is this the place of me? This is what I said earlier about why do NXT have these most random places for beefs? Why? Why are we meeting in the dark room? Of all the places, let's go into the dark. Why? Why? Whose idea was this? Who? First of all, Wes, come on now. Come on. Come on. Why did you even agree to this? Why? Why we like? I didn't understand, and I'm just like, oh, why? How? This is what you guys said there. It was like, you know what's gonna be good this week? Let's go meet in dark room. This is what you guys decided collectively. This is what we did. I don't understand. And yes, the parking lot. Absolutely, I feel like everything that goes wrong happens in the parking lot. Clearly, the parking lot is like the real bully of NXT. Clearly, the real heel is the parking lot because every time something goes down, it's always in the parking lot. People get kidnapped, beat up, tripped, all types of stuff. But I'm just saying, because it's pure shenanigans. Why are we in the dark? Why are we here? Like, this is not photography class. We're not developing photos. Why are we here? I don't understand. I just want to know who is making these decisions in NXT. Is like, this is what we're going to do for these segments. Let's go diners, boats, barbershops, parking lot. Oh, yeah, let's do a dark room. What's going to be next? The trunk of a car? Is that what we're doing? That we're gonna do next? Let's put a camera and let's have a stare down in a really tight space I don't understand. Okay? And absolutely, I just feel like this is one of the things I always say about any horror movie fans know. There's just some things black people we don't do. We don't do. Why no? You be dumb. That's your prerogative. Katrina will not do no such thing. I'm gonna make it to the end. Okay? Find a girl for me. Okay, find a girl. Got time for that. So I'm just saying, I don't understand why we in there. And then dead with the shades. Would you Diddy? He's the only person I know who wore shades at all times of the day. So what do we now? Now you bad boy? Now you part of the enterprise? What is happening? I don't understand. And I'm just kind of annoyed because I'm tired of these shenanigans. I'm tired. Like, why is nobody questioning this? Why is nobody questioning this? Who is in the darkened shades? And then what if he got those glasses that that change, adjust to the dark? Those Avisa, whatever the thing he's called, one of those glasses where it change from like when you go to yes, what maybe like do you have those? Why are we just I can't. I just no, I don't understand. But this is what we got because apparently it's just all types of stuff going on in NXT. So after my rant, what are your thoughts about these little segments?
I mean, I have to agree with in the dark room. Like, he's so dramatic with the gray. It's like, sis, once the match starts, like the gray is gonna go away. So now we got questions. The gray is only for backstage and entrance. Once the match starts, we don't have gray. So you losing half your power. You 50% already. Like, we gotta move on from that. I'm so sorry. Like, Wes, you get it together. Jacy and GiGi was talking hella crap, but they were acting. You've seen. I'm gonna bring this up again. You've seen Bring It On. Were they not acting like Bring It On, like that over dramatic, over the top, high pitched voice of like, yeah, like she's doing this, like it was like I was like, I know you guys are trolling because why are your voices this high pitch? You're lying. I knew. And then the last one, I really think, and this is something I really want to do. We have to invest in it every time someone gets attacked in the parking lot. We just play a quick video of Kevin Owens in the parking lot walking past Hideo Itami saying, "That's a shame." We just have to play the video every time. So I feel like it's such a often occurrence of someone getting attacked in the parking lot that we need to have a video just to say, you know what, that's a shame. We just have Kevin Owens walking. That's a shame. I think we have to.
I think we do because it's like every week. I think there was like 1 week when nobody got hurt in the parking lot. I feel like every week I'm like, how's nobody got like this gonna be an extra pay period because you're gonna add money to my salary. I'm not gonna get people worried about getting attacked in the parking lot every week. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But yes, which now brings us fully into the segments with Cora Jade, excuse me, not Cora Jade, with GiGi, GiGi Dolan, Jacy Jane, and Roxanne Perez. And so they did do a lot of weird, like, oh, I don't like you, like that whole weird stuff. And after all of that, to kind of sell this whole, they're gonna, as we said, the whole you have to bring it on situation, where it seemed like it was also very obvious that they really wasn't beefing because I like, again, am I a little bit after little face stares a couple of weeks? I tend to believe the vibes, so I'm like, why are you looking at me funny? Keep my eye out for you. I still believe there's a little bit of animosity in there. I do. But in regards to Roxanne, at least if you're trying to make her feel, for this kind of situation, it's a triple threat match. You guys have to be united because she's the person, the common enemy at the moment. And so they did all of that, which in turn led to them. Well, they were about to fight each other. Instead, they went for Roxanne, and she was sent through. Poor Roxanne, who's been through enough in NXT because Shawn Michaels clearly just wanted to do shenanigans all the time. She went through a table, and it led off with GiGi and Jacy kind of holding the title over Roxanne's body. And I'm just like, I mean, okay. I mean, I felt like it was a very obvious end because we know the one thing supposedly Toxic Attraction always do is kind of have each other's back. Now, again, does it mean this won't play out until Vengeance Day and they might kind of have a moment where they might not be on the same page? Of course, I do think that because there can only be one champion. This is not a tag team belts. We can maybe play that around on like the New Day where there's 3 of them, but there's 2 belts. It's one champion.
They can do the whole Michelle McCool and Layla L thing, just like breaking it out. Yeah.
I mean, maybe, but I felt like it worked with them because of that gimmick. I don't feel like I can't really see Toxic Attraction doing that. I feel like there's going to be some jealousy somewhere. And don't even get me started with Booker T. He wasn't that bad today, but normally Booker T would do shenanigans. But yes, that's how NXT ended. So what were your thoughts about this end to NXT?
All right, so my first thing I have to say, GiGi, can we have a little commotion for the outfit, the whole look? Like, she was eating me up. Like, God. I was like, girl, you look good. But besides that, they were eating each other up. Did you guys hear what they were saying to each other? I'm like, oh my God. When Jacy called her a YouTube sensation, I said, oh no, she's getting mean. She's getting mean, that one. But I love that, even though we could all tell that it was so like, they were pushing it and they were trolling and they were probably going to turn. But I also think this is like a build-up for them as a group. Because, yes, I see them losing. I don't see Roxanne losing. So them just having this was kind of to give them credibility, because I feel like so much of their group, even before Mandy, left, was about Mandy. It was so revolved around her and her success that now they have to kind of redo them. And I feel like when they were with Mandy, they did a lot of the whole scheming, coming up with, plans and tricking people. So them doing it now tonight was kind of like saying, it's not just something we only did with Mandy, and Mandy wasn't the brains. We have brains as well. We can do this as well. And I think this will be good for them because I feel like they lost a lot of steam, obviously losing Mandy. And a lot of people were just looking at them like, instead of being Toxic Attraction, like a credible tag team, more of like lackeys to Mandy. So I think this is really good. And I think the match is going to be great. And I think this might be their goodbye match. I just don't see how much more they could have left to do, So that's what I'm seeing right now.
Overall, yeah. I do agree that because while it was with GiGi, I've known what her wrestling was before here. And so, while they was a group and they was a big faction and they had the tag titles and we knew they had the titles, they also did a lot of sneaky stuff with that. That was when they had the titles. And then you had them lose the titles and then you had Mandy and it was always Mandy hit these milestones and Mandy did this and Mandy did that. And so they did look like lackeys. And so I feel like having them look united made sense, but I also don't necessarily think it means they're going to actually be that way in the match because again, there can only be one winner. And while that might have worked with Michelle and Layla, as you said, I don't get that vibe from them. I feel like there's definitely while they was overhyping it, there's always, as they say, the saying is there's always some truth to a joke. There's always a truth to I'm just kidding. And so I do believe there was some truth to what some of the stuff that they were saying. And this may be a problem again. Because you guys, even if you beat up Roxanne, well, one of you have to pin. You can't have two situations where, okay, you both made it to the end of that battle royal. Now you both winning. Like, they can't have that, because now how do you saying who's the better of the two? And unfortunately, even though we don't want to see it like that, there's usually a better of a group. There's who's the better of the group. That's always how it's been time and time again. And so, but otherwise, it was a pretty solid. Listen, that's a whole rant for another day. Agreed. uh this is was a solid show. I do like that we have a lot of women's action, even though some of the matches are kind of short and I didn't understand some of the choices, but it was a solid show overall. So tell everybody where they can find you and what you got going on.
Well, you can catch me on Tuesdays with the bad guy on UPR as we review NXT right after, so he can yell at me because he yells at me. I'm the victim. And then on Wednesdays, you can catch me for the challenge review, also on UPR. That is at 9:30, directly after the show. We like to get right into it with our fresh thoughts with Mike Knox, myself, and the bad guy again. Then on Thursdays, you can catch me with Aisha Lomax on Women's Wrestling Army after show at 5 p.m. And then you can catch me with this amazing, talented, creative, never been done before woman at 7 p.m. for the NXT review, my true thoughts, where I'm not being yelled at. I don't get yelled at over here. And then Monday, you have the Big Pop Theory podcast, new episode dropping every Monday. That guy.
Listen, okay, so if you guys have ever seen me and Shane do a show prior to this, yes, I do go on my rants because shenanigans all the time, and so I have to let people know. But I don't yell at Shay. I don't yell at her. She's my girl. I never yell. Okay, but no, we don't do this with us. Okay, we're both great.
Yeah.
We're both amazing. Okay, we can't. But
the Shield, like they're all epic, right?
yes, in their own ways. I mean, well, no, I can't even say that because I did like Roman and more, but hello, it's like look at him, okay, and that's why that's very biased there. Like, do you see him? Like, if his man didn't have like all these 50 kids, maybe. Because he had a lot of kids. I can't do all that. I got my own. You know, that's too much. Bonded. We can't be that blended family. Too many. No, Shay's my girl. Okay. No, we're good. But yeah. So it might be a little biased with Roman Reigns because hello. But yes. However, all three have very different qualities that made them great. So. Anyway, you can find me on most social media platforms on InCat We Trust, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. The E is a 3. Again, I am rebranding, but I am planning on doing stuff because I've been watching a lot more anime, and so I got thoughts. I've also been watching The Last of Us, and if you guys played The Last of Us and you know how, I got some thoughts about the first 2 episodes, which I really enjoyed, and so I'm going to try to get that out there. And so before my rebrand and some interviews coming up, so you catch me on my YouTube, definitely go check that out. Also, make sure to check out Women's Wrestling Talk, www.talkpod.com, to check out all the articles. We have an article every single day, and if you haven't, which you guys clearly are on here, but if you haven't, click the notification, subscribe to our Twitch, YouTube to get every new show we got popping off. We have a lot of shows on Thursdays. There are 3 shows, I believe, on Thursdays. Sometimes it depends on the anime. It depends on the anime. Sometimes, yes, there are shenanigans, but then sometimes there's not. So it depends on the anime. But we do have a show. Like I said, there's 3 shows today. There is the Women's Wrestling Army. We have NXT, and I believe Impact after. So Thursdays, for example, there are 3 shows. So there's shows every day almost on on Women's Wrestling Talk, and I believe there will be a Royal Rumble after show this Saturday, so definitely go check that out as well. And again, as always, thank you guys for engaging with us and leaving really funny channels and channels, Jesus, comments, having us laugh. They were really funny. Thank you as always for joining us. We appreciate you guys absolutely so much. And until next time, guys, we will catch you later. Bye.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.